Hi.
Recording. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and the Sign and Thrive Notary Training Course and Community. Thank you all for being here. I want to honor you first, our guests, just for carving time out of your day. I know there's so many of us that are exhausted from staying at home. We've got cabin fever, and there's some of us that are exhausted because we've been working more than we've ever worked before. So I just want to honor everybody, no matter what path you're on. Thank you for being here, and introduce you to our co-host and guest, Mrs. Carol Ray, founder of Notary to Pro. Carol has blazed the trail for us in the training community. Carol, thank you so much for being here. What are you excited about this week?
I'm excited about a lot of things. First of all, just that they figured out what's going on with me physically, because I've had some problems lately. But I'm really excited because in less than 3 weeks, Bill and I will be married 57 years.
Wow.
57 years. So we might say, good morning, I love you. Happy anniversary. We have no plans, but just
That's
to
awesome.
Enjoy each other.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
You don't see that very often. Fantastic. Laura Biewer is founder of CoachMeLaura.com. Many of you know her as our general notary expert. Laura, thank you so much for being here. What are you excited about this week?
Couple things. One is this Saturday, if you haven't heard by now, a skill builder is happening on apostille work. And if you want to know what it is, if you want to know whether that's something you want to add as a line of business for yourself, then that would be the place to be, 9 a.m. this Saturday. Bill has put the link in, which is notarycoach.com/apostille. Get registered, because if you register and you can't make the 9 a.m. time, then you can watch the replay, which will be up only for a limited amount of time. You know how that works. So in any case, I'm excited that that is coming this Saturday. I'm excited about some good news for California notaries who finally got an emergency order. It isn't Ron, no, but it is helpful. And I did put out a YouTube video this morning on it with all the details, but it includes recognition of the extensions of our driver's license and state ID cards for notary work. And it includes commission extensions for those of us who had a commission expire March 1st or after. They've added another 60 days. There's a statement you have to write, and you have to have a valid bond, which means your bond company must extend their coverage the extra 60 days. If you bought it from the NNA, it's done. Everybody who bought their bond from the NNA is automatically, they extended it for the 60 days, no cost. You don't have to do anything. But if you bought your bond somewhere else, you're gonna have to go check that bond company and see what they're doing. So yay, some news. That's helpful for us. And if you want the details, watch my YouTube video out today.
Wow, that's great. Heck of a thing to be excited about. And we got a little education there too. I love it as usual, Laura. Thank you so much for that. As for me, I am excited just because we had a pretty, well, there's so many things to be excited about. But yesterday we invited Mark Allen Grollo back from the Unboring Wedding Officiant. He's North America's leading trainer to be a wedding officiant. So if that's of interest to you, we have an amazing replay. I just sent that out to all the registrants yesterday, but now it's available publicly. So anybody, I sent out the link via email with the TNT reminder, but also it's in the chat window too. So if you're interested in a side hustle, if you're interested in changing the lives of couples forever, this might be an exciting opportunity for you too. So there's a link in there for you, and that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. How the show works today. Guys, much preferred if you raise your hand. Laura, can you explain how to raise your hand?
I'm happy to. If you go down at the bottom menu there and pick the participants icon, you will see about in the middle of the page on the right side, it says raise hand. Click on that button and it will raise your hand next to your name, and we'll know you're waiting to talk.
And we have our very first couple of hands already up in the air. So let's jump in. Gina Marie, thank you so much for being here. What is your question?
Hi, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. So I got an email from Signature Closers, and when I was filling out or going through the requirements on the application, they asked questions if I was certified, TRID certified and CFPB certified. Can you explain that to me? These certifications, are they required? Are they good to have?
Yeah, great question. Great question. Carol, can you address this?
No. Well, I know that Signature Closers looks for our certification. They've
Right.
been advertising. They've had a full page ad on their website for years for Notary to Pro. I never paid for it. I never asked for it, but they've always had that. And I think the caller will know that. The other certification, I'm not sure what she's talking about. Is that the reverse mortgage?
No, that's
No.
good. Laura, that comes from NNA usually. Do you want to address that?
What were the letters? Because I don't recognize it.
Yeah, I looked them up. I'd have to look them up again. It's CFPB. And what that is, let me just look it up again real quick.
I don't think that's an NNA
Well,
certification.
that's Consumer Financial Protection.
Right.
Correct.
That's not a notary certification.
Correct, but on their signature closers, they're asked if you are TRID certified and or CFPB certified.
Oh, true. Okay, that has to do with the new closing disclosure that came out a few years ago.
Correct.
And in our education, we do have TRID training. I include that with
Right.
the certification.
And so
Okay,
does the
so you
NNA.
do get
So
certified for that. Okay.
So what I found is what they're asking, because on signingagent.com, there's actually a checkbox for this. But you can purchase the TRID training from an NNA and you get a designation on your account. The thing is, what we find is most of the signing companies adjusted their applications way back in 2015. And I'm sorry, we got a lot of background noise, so I'm just going to mute you. Maybe. Can't
It's
find
not
you.
for me.
Okay. Oh, there we go. We got lots of guys. Please keep yourself on mute if you're not called on. Thank you so much. Okay, so a lot of the signing companies include that TRID certification still. TRID's been around now for many years. So if you've got training from Carol, from me, from Laura, you have your TRID training. So there's nothing that you're really missing out on. And I have not heard that TRID certification has much weight anymore. And that in 2016 and even in 2017, I heard people talking about it all the time. But now it's integrated. It's part of our process, that TRID training. So if you want that certification, you can absolutely still purchase it through the NNA, I believe. But it's definitely not a requirement.
Okay, I have
So,
one more question.
Oh, Carol has
I'm
one more
sorry,
thing to add
for
to
any graduates out there, Notary to Pro, and I get this question a lot, it is actually written on your certificate, all of the certifications that you've earned by going through the course, and it includes TRID.
Okay, great, thank you. On one more question. On one document, they had asked, this is a loan document. They asked, the document was both an acknowledgement and a jurat. And I think that we may have covered this before, but can you remind me like why one document for the notary to sign has an acknowledgement and a jurat?
Well, I mean, what kind of answer are you looking here for, Gina? Because whoever drafts the document, oftentimes they get to decide whatever they want. Now, the attorneys who draft them, they may not understand that they're using language for two different documentation, but we just have to have the eye to look for it. So why would they have it? Sometimes they require an oath, and then they're also requiring an acknowledgement on the bottom. But the understanding the why is like trying to get into somebody's head, and there's not always a rhyme or reason. But Laura, this is kind of Laura's expertise. Laura, do you have anything that would be a trigger marker for somebody who has two notarial acts on one document?
So follow instructions. If you have two separate ones, notarize both ways on the same signature. If you have a hybrid and your state allows you to utilize it that way, go ahead and fill it out. If you're in a state like California that has mandated language that says you can't do it that way, then you're going to replace it with the California jurat instead. But I agree, the why of it really doesn't matter. It's whatever they wanted.
Okay. All right.
Did that help,
Okay,
Gina?
fine. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was
Wonderful.
asking that question for someone else who came across that document. And so I wanted to just cover it on this.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Thanks for being here. Great.
Mhm.
Arlene, great to see you on here. Would you like to unmute and ask your question? I can unmute you too, maybe. There you go. You're ready.
Hi, thank you.
Sure.
My question is, on a signature name affidavit, when there is a name listed that the signer has not used, am I correct that I have them write "not known as" next to the name?
Well, for the most part, yes, you can. I usually suggest that only if the borrower has a major issue with it, like they're standing up and they're saying, no, this isn't me, this is BS, I don't want this, I'm not signing this. Unless they have that kind of reaction, I just encourage them to sign. They can research and investigate later, but there is nothing that they put on that paper that is going to remove that from their record. It's on there somewhere, and the lender's just bringing it forward. I often will also say too that sometimes if you don't sign that way, it can trigger a red flag for the lender. That usually prompts people to just sign it and move on, and if they're really passionate about it, they'll take care of it later. Still, there are those people who insist, I'm not signing that way. So writing "not known as" on the line and then initialing it is one way to handle that. I have seen some come back though. There are some lenders where it will not work. So you just got to be aware that that is a possibility. In the end, we can't force people to sign anything. So if they refuse, if they write that, you can write in the notes to whoever hired you, this is the conversation we had about this, and here's the ultimate result. Please let me know if we need to change anything. Carol, do you have any other suggestions on that?
For many, many, many years, I just have had people put never been known as or never used and initial it, and that's it. And I've never, ever had a problem because people are afraid that that will open a door that they don't want opened by putting a name that they've never used. But usually it's something that shows up on a credit report. It's a mistype, something like that.
Or somebody who used to live in your house, or a magazine subscription with a name misspelled,
Yeah, you never
or a credit
know.
card offer. It could be any number of things.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, did you have something to add to that as well?
Just, I agree with Carol. The way I address it is kind of a hybrid between the two of you. I ask them, is there anything here that strikes you as that it's definitely not you? For instance, I've had where it was a name that doesn't belong to them at all. It belongs to somebody else in their family. And that's when they don't want to have issues with that. I do have them put "never known as," but then next to the printed name, and then I have them sign their name correctly based on the sample name next to it. So they have a signature on the line, and then, but "never known as" this particular version.
Excellent. That's a great idea, because sometimes that lack of signature is what a lender might
Is what, right. And I've had 0 rejections when I handle it that way. They're looking for that signature on that line.
That's what we've done too.
There's the one lender that it seems that has sent back a couple is Provident, of course.
They
Provident.
send everything back.
They're so picky about everything.
My
I won't
God.
even take a Provident anymore. All right. Thank you so much for that. Did we answer your question, Arlene?
You did, yes. The one I had today, he didn't have to sign next to each name, but there was a list of about 6 names, and 2 of them, he said, those are not my name. They're not even spelled with, wrong initials. And so I just had him write "not known as" next to it. I didn't have him initial it, but those were in the scan back. So if I need to go back, they will let me know, because I did some scan backs, and he's real close.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. Guys, real quick, I did come up with a solution for the prizes as well. I forgot to announce it at the very beginning, but we've got the form. I got a landing page all set out. It'll be updated every week. So we got a system that in theory should work perfectly. So if you'd like, all you have to do is type in your name and email address just once, and you're registered for all the prizes that we're going to give away after 1 o'clock today Pacific time. After we get all the answers or questions answered, we're going to give away some fun prizes. All you have to do is register once at www.notarycoach.com/prize. That's all you have to do, and then we'll figure it out on this end and give away those cool prizes. All right, Laura and Marty's iPhone, if you would like to, I'm unmuting you now. You can ask your question.
Hi. Yeah, I'm relatively a new notary. I'm in California, and I've just discovered that I've been abbreviating in my journal, and I'm not supposed to. So I'm trying to go back and fix it, and I'm trying to find information from somewhere that lets me know what I can do to do that, in case somebody comes back and says, hey, you didn't put affidavit, you put AFF period. Any suggestions there?
I think we've got the industry expert on that for you. Laura, can you chime in and help her out? Help Laura out? Laura?
So, what we tell people when they find out, oh, I'm not supposed to abbreviate, is we tell them to start from today forward doing it the way you now know it should be done. The non-abbreviations is not in the handbook, so don't go look there. The do not abbreviate is one of the directives from the Secretary of State's office that comes out in their newsletter. And, they've probably done it a couple of years. Every time they highlight journals, they talk about this. And they're asking you to write out as much as you can. There are some documents, it is impossible. It's like a sentence long. So I work with the most of it that I can. And once in a while, I'll have to use some pieces because I can't fit. But if I can fit it, I always handwrite it out. And I would start from now forward rather than modifying previous entries.
Okay, if I modified, which I've been doing because I've been working on it, and I've been putting just a straight line through and then fitting in affidavit when I can, or agreement,
I would
or
stop. Don't do any more.
okay, am I going to get in trouble for it?
Well, I'm not the Secretary of State, so I
Okay.
cannot answer that directly. What I can say is it would come to their attention one of two ways. There was a complaint with that particular work, and then your journal was seen by the Secretary of State, and it might be, oh, by the way, you're not supposed to do this.
Okay.
The other way it can come to their attention is we are audited in the state of California randomly. So many notaries are chosen, and your journals, might be a month or 2 or 3 months worth of entries, and they look for compliance. And again, they might say, you're not supposed to abbreviate. Are they going to revoke your commission? Probably not. They're probably going to let you know this is not the way we want it done.
Okay.
But do it correctly from now forward.
Right. Well, I started using the Modern Journal, and the Modern Journal says that you could check, in the boxes rather than write out, what that is. And now, of course, they say, no, can't do that in California. And I didn't get taught that in my NNA classes. I'm a little disappointed that I found this out afterwards in one form,
I'm sure we would not have addressed somebody else's journal because that's not how ours looks. Ours is set up for compliance.
Right.
But as an instructor myself,
Mhm.
it is part of our scripting that we talk about how a journal is supposed to be filled out and what is required and what is not required.
Yeah, I don't remember getting that in my NNA course. So
Yeah, 120 points of law, I can imagine that.
yeah.
It would get lost.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to put blame. I'm just, I'm a very careful person, and I'm also a worried person. So I'm like stressing about it, but I shouldn't stress too much. Then just go on forward from it.
Right. Do it correctly from this day forward.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I'll tell you, Laura, as far as errors and mistakes go, that I'm sure they see, that's pretty low on the
Totem
intensity
pole.
level. So I think you're doing just
I
fine.
know. Well, thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much. I really appreciate all this help.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. So I wonder if, Laura, you can also address just the importance of using a journal, even if the state doesn't require it, as a best practice.
Oh, standard of care. You might hear that phrase mostly in the medical field, but we use it as well. Another phrase you might have heard instead of standard of care might be best practices. But what you're going to hear mostly now is standard of care. And standard of care would be to document every notarization at some level, even if your state does not tell you what has to be in there or does not even tell you you need to have a journal. Some states strongly encourage a journal. So there's no mention of a journal to we encourage you to have a journal to you will have a journal to this is what will be in your journal, all over the map. And what I would tell you is the journal is for you. Really. It is your BFF. It is your protection. I have been called to court. I have been called by attorneys. I have been called back by signers, by hospitals, to recreate what happened on that day between me and a signer. And there's no way with the volume that I produce that I could remember that accurately and believably. So if it's required, then if you want to keep a commission, do it. If it's not required, standard of care says a reasonable person would create some kind of documentation to represent what transpired that you can maintain should it be called back out.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that there. I know that helps a lot of people. Yeah, Carol, I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of the things I might suggest, I do suggest to my students, and it's kind of out there, so you guys may not agree with me, but a lot of times we have things like you've got maybe affidavits, an affidavit for somebody, a credible witness or something like that. And I suggest that they put an envelope at the back of their journal, tape it in or something, and special notes, photographs that you might take, something that you need, that you might have to come up with, a memory, something that will come to haunt you later on. That you can put into that envelope and keep it. It's in the same time frame as the notarization because it's within the confines of that journal. Because you never know what might come back to haunt you if they're looking for something, or if you need to have your memory, something there that you need to remember, some situation that went on during a signing is really helpful because you pull up that signing, it's June the 3rd, 19 whatever, or 2000 whatever, and that memory is written down. It's notated, copied, photographed, whatever. And that's really helpful. Just
Excellent
something to
suggestion.
think about.
Yeah, great suggestion. Maryland, I'll go ahead and unmute you. You are up.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for being here. How can we help?
I'm new, okay, and so I'm getting ready to take my certificate of NNA, my test. And my question is, I've been going through your course, okay, trying to understand. Since Georgia is a attorney state where attorney has to be present, are there going to be a lot of questions on the test about signing for real estate?
Well, I mean, I suppose a loan signing agent certification is all about real estate loan signing. That's
okay.
what the certification is for. So yes, the answer to that question is just yes. That's all it is. However, the NNA certification test is also more about their standards of practice and their best practices guide.
Okay.
The code of conduct. So there's not necessarily very specific questions on there about what you'll be doing every day. When it comes to the attorney state, in Georgia in particular, the way their law is written is an attorney must be present or involved in a transaction. So it does not necessarily mean an attorney is going to be sitting at the table or has to be sitting at the table. They're just the responsible closing party. So they have to be able to review the documents. They're in charge of the entire process. Then they can still contract out to people like you and I, loan signing agents, to go gather the signatures. But it's really difficult, and I'm sure you've already discovered this, in Georgia to get a straight answer from anybody about what you can do out there. So I recommend there's a department within the Secretary of State just for notaries that can help guide you a little more specifically. They're usually not too excited to have a loan signing agent for purchase transaction where they're reconveying ownership. But on refinances, there's no reconveyance. So a lot of loan signing agents get lots of business with the refinances or the out-of-state transactions because, as Carol always says, it doesn't matter where the property or the bank or the closing agent is, it matters where the signer is. So if they happen to be in Georgia closing on a property somewhere else, that might be open to you as well. I just encourage you to definitely do your due diligence and research and try to get as much information as you can to make the best decisions for you.
Okay. Second question, okay. I understand that portion now. If that portion of my business is not as lucrative, I think I understand from Laura that there are other areas or avenues where I can make money with if I choose not to really pursue that real estate.
No,
Is
but
that
at least it's better.
Sorry about that. We got interrupted.
is that something that's feasible?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
there's the way I look at it, this is your notary umbrella. There's part of the things that's so exciting about this business to me is all the different things that we can do. If you're a road warrior, there's really no limit to what you can do. Now, just in every state's a little different. You don't always get designated certain duties or responsibilities or things you can do as a notary, but you can add them on just because you're any other business. If you want to be a notary and then incorporate fingerprinting, you can absolutely do that. You just have to go and learn from the fingerprinting company and the federal government how they want it done, how to do it, invest in that business. If you want to be a wedding officiant, you can absolutely do that too under the notary umbrella. You can go out, you can learn how to do that in an amazing way, and then go out and build that arm of your business too. If you want to stick closer to notaries, you can do the general notary work and expand on that, finding the niche markets. Also, field inspections are big in Georgia too. So if you got in with a company that does field inspections, which those assignments come through SnapDocs as well, you could add those on and do those types of things. So there is a lot of different options there for you. Carol or Laura, do you have any other suggestions for additional revenue streams for an attorney state notary?
Laura, I joined your, I signed up for your LBT, whatever that is. I signed up for, yes, and I've been listening to the modules that are there, and so I'm getting lots of ideas. So I guess I'm on the right track if I hear what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you're on the right track, and there's lots of different things. There are things that haven't even been mentioned yet on LBP, and of course, Apostille is coming, and there'll be other ones that are coming.
Okay, all right. Okay, that takes care of my questions. I thank you guys so much for your support and help. I'm going to get my testing done this week and my certification done this week, and so I can move on to the next phase. Thank you.
Awesome, Marilyn. Thank you.
And you did the best thing you could do by signing up for Laura's replays.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
Big stuff.
Yeah, Marilyn, have you watched the NNA test taking party yet in Sign and Drive?
I've been looking at that yesterday and today. Yes, so I'm finishing that up. Yes, because I joined yours as well too. Your training course, I joined that, so I was listening to that party today.
Awesome, great. That's about 2 hours long, but you watch that and you'll come out really strong.
All right.
And Marilyn, I want to add one more thing.
Thanks, Marilyn.
I want to add one more thing, Marilyn.
Yeah.
I have a lot of graduates in Georgia, and they are doing really, really well.
Awesome.
Having the attorney state is not stopping them at all.
Okay, so is there a network here of Georgia sign? No.
There are
There's
some.
a whole bunch of them.
Samantha,
We have a list of them on our website. You can look by zip code.
Okay. All right, I can do that. All right, that's awesome. Just so I don't feel like I'm a lone duck.
Yeah, no problem.
No, you're not.
What I'll tell you, you're definitely not alone. And if you ever want to see how many signing agents are available to you as a networking resource, go to signingagent.com and type in your zip code.
Okay.
Not everyone is going to be open to connecting. We know that, but you're going to find people like on this call who are interested in connecting. In fact, they're craving connection, and they're craving people who participate and share and give as much as they take. So these are the type of people that you have right here on this call.
Well, the last thing is that I think that's the thing that convinced me to kind of go with you, is that you are such a giver, okay? Because it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And so that was the defining, I guess, criteria for me to go with your layout. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think that's the power of this triad right here, is that we're heart-centered and we give. Love it. Thank you for being here, Marilyn. All right, Garrett McAllister, thank you for your patience. I have unmuted you and you are free to ask.
Hi, I just had a quick question about Ron, specifically Pavaso, if anyone's kind of been there, done there, got the t-shirt already. I know I had a phone conversation with Val. She was really helpful with some of that a few weeks ago. But I did get Pavaso certified, and I'm on their platform. And I expected it to be kind of like SnapDocs, but I was a little surprised to see it looks like once you get on there, you have to actually connect with the title company directly and get on a list with them.
Yes, that's correct. I think that's, depending on your perspective, it's a little bit of a downside on Pavaso because you can't use it independently. But if you do have a relationship with their partner title companies, it can actually be pretty lucrative as well. Laura, what do you hear on Pavaso?
Well, yeah, they don't work with independent notaries. You have to be signed up underneath a title company to work with them. I've used their platform. I am certified with them. We don't do RON in California right now, but I'm already certified because I do hybrid signings, and I can do electronic, like an IPEN, which is in-person electronic notary signing. I like their platform, but that's the only limitation is really you're just there to do loan signings, and it's just a way to facilitate the assignment for the title company. Not for you to bring customers in, to do it yourself. Other ones like DocVerify are. So if you're looking to be an independent RON notary, take a look at DocVerify. It's not my favorite, really, but they're the only one I know of that are working with independent notaries. And there are some notaries in our group that are using them. And we just had a RON meetup, an e-meetup for RON, and there were 5 different people, 4 out of 5 using DocVerify because they're independent notaries. And you might want to watch that replay, and you probably get some information that way. That replay is notarycoach.com/light replay.
Light replay, you got it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, about an hour and a half, and you'll get a lot of information.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Garrett.
I have some, can I say
Absolutely,
something?
please.
I have something that's going on right now that I'm kind of reserved about, but I'm excited about too. And it's a group of scientists. They are software creators, got out of a healthcare business, and now they're working on RON, and they've got everything developed. They're ready to launch in Texas, and they are going to be fee-free, no upfront fee at all. And they're only going to be making money by having the in place, the notary fees and that $25 fee. It's all kind of all spelled out and everything. I'm hoping that this is going to work out, and because this is going to be amazing. A lot of notaries would like to do this, but they're not willing to put out $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 to be a part of a platform, and then they have to join more platforms. They don't want to do it. I've got people calling me all the time about it. So keep your fingers crossed, because if they're good and this works out, it'll be a really good avenue for everybody.
That's what I love about opportunities like this. This particular time period is ripe for innovation. We've been talking about that for years. So right now we're on the cutting edge. The only companies that were in existence were the ones that were in existence doing the e-notary or the signing platforms. And now they're morphing. It doesn't feel real notary friendly right now, but guess what? Entrepreneurs are innovators. They hear this. I hear it. You don't think I'm working on a platform? I'm absolutely working on the platform. So all of this stuff is in the mix. So we'll see some exciting stuff coming up that will be geared towards notary friendliness, will be geared towards entrepreneurialism and helping to support the notaries create this business. This is an exciting time in that regard. We just have to be a little patient as it unfolds. Love that. Thank you, Garrett. Anything else we can answer for you?
Yeah, I'm just curious the best way for me to connect directly with title companies that are already on the platform. I have a connection at one of the title companies that Pavaso works with, but besides that, what's the best way for me to go about getting in touch and getting on there? Because I'm in Pavaso. So if you're in Pavaso as a title company, you should be able to find me. But I'm not sure how to kind of bridge that gap, I guess I'm saying.
Great question. I would like to go to basics on this one. I would ask Pavaso if they provide a list of
That's
their partner title companies. Is that what you would do, Laura?
That was what I'd say. I'd be going back to Pavaso and say, do you have a list of title companies that you're working with now so that I can see if I'm already connected with them?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Definitely
Thank
start
you.
there. And if they don't, it might be a little harder to work around, but if you do strategic Google searches, you can start to see. If you just type in Ron availability title company, it'll pop up and it usually will suggest Pavaso or Pavaso partners or whatever it is. So you can always find what you need online. Plus, you've got an amazing community of people who might share that information with you. If you're tapped into the forums, if you're tapped into like notaryreviews.org or even on here, they do have a list on their website. Problem solved, Pavaso's done. Now, here's what I would recommend though. If you're going to pursue that, then remember the relationship building basics. Now you have your Fab 100 list. It's basically anybody who's on Pavaso, right? Then you can narrow that down, do your research and reach out and build a relationship. And right now, because of the environment we're in, sometimes opening the door to a relationship is literally like, I'm Pavaso certified and I'm working right now. I do this full time and I'm certified. As a signing company or as an escrow officer, sometimes you just hit them right at the right time. They need to hear that because 70% at least, I'm still struggling finding notaries to fulfill orders in some states. So you might hit them right at the time when they need you the most. They might bump you to the top of the list. Carol, Laura, anything else to add to Garrett for building relationships with Pavaso escrow officers?
Not right now.
All right, beautiful. Garrett, thank you so much for that. That was a great conversation.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Yesenia, thank you so much for your patience. You have unmuted yourself and you are ready to go.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
First of all, to the three of you, Carol, Bill, and Laura, first of all, I appreciate the three of you and I appreciate this great networking group that you have developed, okay? I am on my 9th year as a notary, and I can't tell you how lonely I felt until recently that a fellow insurance agent has shared this group. So I appreciate you guys for this. I'm new to the loan signing. I've been doing it already. I'm on my 3rd year now, but this is the year my goal was to really focus more on this and learn more of this. So I'm doing this week my first Arizona signing. And one of the documents is a bit confusing for me because all it says is it doesn't have the verbiage, in the rectangular that California has to have, right? Above the venue. It does have the state of blank and the county blank. Then it says the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me, this blank, which obviously is the date, by, then they wrote in the borrower's name, couple of blank lines, and then my commission expire and my signature part. So since this is going to be filed in Arizona, does it have to have the verbiage above the venue, yay or nay?
Laura, what say you?
I say nay. The rule in California is we may use any other state's acknowledgement as long as we performed it legally within our own state, and that document will be filed in another state. The only thing to watch out for is no representative capacity. So make sure there's no certification like it's Joe Signer, sole and separate property, or Joe Signer, spouse, or Joe Signer, trustee. We can't have those other determinations, just the name. As long as that's all you're putting in there, go right ahead.
Okay, and yeah, it does have just the customer's name and then a couple of blank lines. So I'm assuming I don't have to fill in the blank lines because they're blank.
Not necessarily. I'd probably put a little strike through them. I don't like open lines in my certificate.
Yeah,
No.
no.
And the other thing is that rule I gave you is only for the acknowledgement. The jurat is 100% of the time must be California wording with the notice box.
Okay, got it. So even though it's being filed in Arizona, the jurat must have that verbiage. So if they do have that was my second question, because it is an affidavit, right? Which is obviously includes the jurat. So would I strike through the original and then attach my jurat that has the proper verbiage?
So I don't tend to strike my certificate. Some lenders don't like that. What I do is I disable it by writing in the signature line where I would have signed my name, see attached certificate, initial that, and then I put mine behind it.
Got it. I think that looks better anyway. So thank you for that suggestion.
You're welcome.
And that's all I have. So thank you.
Well, that was awesome. Thanks for bringing that question to us. Appreciate that. All right, I'll get that lowered. Aaron Bolden, thank you for your patience. I have unmuted you and you're good to go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. Thanks for being here. How can we help?
Hi, everyone. So I have one comment and then 2 questions. My notary seal and journal were stolen. I am, thank God, able to notarize and everything now because I'm back in business. However, I can tell you what I've done and what would you do if that has happened to you. So which one did you want first?
You tell us. What'd you do?
Okay, so the first thing I did was
What
did
state are you
file.
in first, Aaron? I'm sorry, what state?
I am in the state of Illinois.
Okay, great.
I did file a police report. Also, I was out of commission for about 2.5 weeks, so it was a little bit discouraging. But again, as I said, I am back in business. Now, I know I did read that it is recommended that you resign your commission. However, that's to me giving up, and that's not an option for me. So I'm not just going to do that. But what I did was when I did order, I also notified the Secretary of State for Illinois. When I ordered my new seal and journal, I did put a distinctive mark on my new seal so that I can know from this day forward what my seal looks like and if it was me or not. What I haven't done but will do, I also will take the police report along with a statement that I will write saying that after this day, my seal has this on it and it was stolen and so forth and so on. So I'll give it over to you.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And I'm gonna actually pass this to Laura because she is our legal expert on this. What I'm most curious about, Laura, too, is if you can really speak to the suggestion to resign the commission and where that might have come from. But I'd love to hear your suggestions.
That's an urban myth, as far as I know. I would never recommend somebody to resign their commission. There is a way to deal with this. You're not the first one this has happened to. You won't be the last one that this has happened to. Perfect response with regarding police report so that that's on file, and notifying your Secretary of State, however it is they direct you to notify them within the time frame they tell you to do it. So those are the 2 big ones right up front. In terms of journal, if you're journaling, I would turn the page and do a big strike through and write, the situation with the stolen seal, and then start fresh, or change out to another whole journal. I would change to another whole journal, but if you don't want to spend the money and you're in the middle of one, at least separate a page that indicates your problem and then move forward so that everything in the journal from that day forward is with the new stamp. And then in buying the stamp, I was glad to hear you were able to have some kind of distinctive mark. My recommendation would be ink color change, shape change, or border change. California, if it happened to you, they're going to change your border. You're going to keep your number, but they're going to change your border. Also, some states allow for purple ink instead of black ink or other color ink, and some states allow for a different shape. So if you had a rectangular shape and your state says, oh, you can use a round shape, then I'd change shape. So those are some of the things you can do to differentiate.
I was going to change shape, but when I ordered mine from the AAN, they only had one shape because that was my initial thought. And then so I was thinking, why don't I just go on like Amazon or something and send them my commission? But I didn't want anything that didn't stamp right or any errors whatsoever of it not working. So I just thought, okay, let me not go through that route. Let me go through a legitimate way. Also, I do not have my old journal as that was taken, but I do have a brand new journal. I also have, being that 95% of my work is escrow direct, I do have every single client that that was in that last journal. I still have every single person that I did close in my calendar, because as the title company sends me the clients, it automatically goes to my calendar.
Right. Gotcha.
I saw a question, and I had a question, is how did you create a distinctive mark? Does your state not require a specific look and feel to your stamp, meaning certain verbiage only, certain shape only?
It does. What I looked at, how I can say this so vaguely. So I looked at my name and I looked at, okay, how it's supposed to be according to my commission, but what I can add with still being, excuse me, I'm so sorry, legal and have it still match. So I added something there.
Okay, as long as you're conforming to your state requirements, and some states have much wider guidelines than others. We would not be able to do that in California, but I know that's how they deal in California, is the border change, and that's how they do that. But and of course in California we can have as many different stamps, many different shapes or sizes that we want. So we have a lot more flexibility in different areas than you do.
Oh wow! And you know what? I did not know that I could change the color. So you know, I'll actually call the Secretary of State and see if we can do that, because that would be pretty cool.
It would probably be in your handbook, and you can download that because you may not get to anybody at the Secretary of State. But look up the Notary Handbook for Illinois, and the information will be in there.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm sorry that happened to you, Aaron, but thank you for bringing that, because that has happened to me before as well, and I think you handled it beautifully. Thank you, Laura, for all the detail on that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we discuss this? I can't remember if we discussed this on TNT. Oh, I'm sorry. Or if it was something that happened within our group of, you know, of my graduates, where somebody had their signs on their cars and someone broke into their car. Did we talk about it on TNT?
That was several weeks ago, yes.
Yeah. So people need to think about where they keep their signs on their car too. And how, you know, those are easily taken off. You might want to think about taking them off your car when you're in strange places.
Well, yeah, that's a really good point, because even though the signs serve as advertisements, it's also advertisements to the bad guys. Oh, there's somebody with a notary stamp in the journal. So there's definitely safety precautions too, right? Like I never leave my notary equipment in my car. It's in my bag. It always comes with me. Sometimes it's weird at the grocery store, but I don't want to risk it. Like some people put it in their trunk. You have a lockbox in your trunk, great. But I freak out because it's been stolen before and it created such a hassle. On that same note though, guys, I use a local rubber stamp company to create my stamp. And it gets me, like when my stamp got stolen, it was the last Friday of the month. And I got a replacement within 4 hours, because that would have been devastating. I mean, that would have been a huge expense. I would have lost out on a lot of revenue if I couldn't have got that stamp that soon. So that's just a consideration for you as well. All right, great question. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that to us. Dolce Cristobal, you are up. I'll go ahead and unmute you here. Maybe. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to ask a question. I did a signing yesterday where they didn't have anything besides the Social Security for the, obviously, and their ID, for the Patriot Act. on the form, do I just put the social security number and that it was issued in the United States? That's it? Or I've just never had to fill that out as one of the forms of verification.
Carol, what do you say? I think she's frozen on it. Laura, what do you say?
Well, I'll unmute. Let me unmute. Yeah, on the Patriot Act, I have used a social security card, and it would be issued in the United States, and it would be the number, and there's a place where it says photo, yes or no. No, there isn't one. There isn't an expiration date. Some social security cards have an issuance date. Depends on when they had that card created. If there is one, I'll put it. If there isn't one, I'll put in /A there is one.
Okay,
Yep.
that's
and
easy.
I only put the last four of the social as well. I don't write the full social security number on there, and I've never had a
Okay.
problem with that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Great question. All right, let's see. Amina Payne, thank you for your patience. I have unmuted you.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. I am in the state of California, and I have a question regarding the journal and specifically journal entries. So for each loan signing that I go to, I'm averaging out about 8 notarized documents, which is about 16 signatures, so 16 lines of entry in my journal. And the other day I had 7 loan signings in a day, and I think I went through 95 entries that day in my journal, which is taking up a significant amount of my time in prepping for the documents, etc. I was wondering, every time I've been going out recently to get signatures for loan signings, when it comes to signing the journal, a lot of the borrowers are saying to me, why am I not just thumbprinting and signing once like everybody else makes me do? Why are you making me sign 10 times and thumbprint 10 times? Can you give me some response to them that is not just, well, that's illegal in California if you don't stamp and thumbprint 10 times? Any advice on that?
I'm not that kind of notary. So that's why I stand out from other notaries, is I let you have the whole enchilada. You know, the law says I'm required to have a single entry line per document per signer, and if it's real estate or power of attorney, I'm required to additionally get the thumbprint, and that's flat it. There really is no other explanation for that. I cannot speak to, unfortunately, notaries who do not meet the law.
Mm-hmm.
One day that may catch up with them through an audit or through some other issue. All I can speak to is I know the right way to have it done, the professional way to have it done, the compliant way to have it done.
Right. And I have been mentioning that, and they're very curious as to why the others then are not doing that. And I say, well, I just can't speak for other people.
But it is the requirement. And I think it's important. I don't have clients that say that. They never blink an eye when they have to sign, like trust. They don't blink an eye at all at signing their name 10 times each and thumbprinting 10 times. I yet to have anybody complain to me. So I don't know what's going on out there, but wow.
Yeah.
The only thing I do get is curiosity when I say, would you raise your right hand? Because I will get that response frequently, like nobody's ever asked me to do that before.
Yeah.
Well, get ready. It's exciting.
Yeah.
You get to keep your clothes on.
Yeah.
So yeah, they remember that. I don't know why notaries continue in the state of California to feel compelled that it's never going to catch up with them. So what?
Yeah. Yeah. Now I have the Modern Journal of Notarial Events that it's proven to me to be a little quicker because they have these little check boxes. You can just check proof of ID or signature name affidavit.
And you think that's compliant?
Is that compliant?
That's not compliant.
Why is that not compliant?
Because you have to write out the name of the document and you need to write out the word acknowledgement, and you can only have one per line.
Right. Yeah, I'm only using one per line. But if it's a proof of ID affidavit, and that's what it says on the little box, and then it just says A for acknowledgement, can I not just circle that?
It doesn't say, it says A. It doesn't say acknowledgement, does it?
No.
Okay.
It says A or J.
Yeah, A does not cut the deal there.
Huh. Okay.
Get a stamp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm
that's
not saying don't
California
use it.
specific, right?
I use a stamp. I use an acknowledgement word stamp and a jurat word stamp because the law doesn't say how it gets there. So Carol is right on it. I find shortcuts that I can take. I use a date stamp. I use acknowledgement stamp. I use a jurat stamp. You can use a CADL stamp because that's not, that's probably the most type of ID you're going to use. You can do all kinds of things to make it faster. The 3 columns that are not required, don't be repeating stuff. You write it once and put a down arrow mark. I was at this address. I don't need to write that address 18 times.
You don't?
So I do, no, that the name and address is not required. The address where you're at physically is not required. And the additional information column is not required. Those are 3 columns I fill out one time, and that's for the whole signing. So now that's 3 columns I did not have to write over and over again. They're not required columns.
Oh, I've been writing those over and over again. Okay, that's why it's taking a lot of time.
That's why it's taking a lot of time, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you for that.
Just save some time. Thanks, Laura. Cutting time. All right.
Yeah,
Ooh, love that.
okay.
Love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Amina, thank you so much. That was good clarity. Guys, we're just about done. We have time. Let's see if we can do these last 3 questions super fast, maybe. Dana Keller, thank you. You're good to go. Hi.
And Carol and Laura. Laura, this question is actually for you, and I think in the last discussion, I may have gotten my question answered, but I've been going through your videos on wills and trusts and all, and I picked up work from an attorney that is an estate planning attorney. So my question has to do with the notary journal. Going back to Amina's question, you were saying that each document has to have its sole and separate line item. Is that true with the estate planning documents also?
That's true with every document, no matter what kind of package it appears in.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. All right, so I made a mistake on my first package, but going forward, now I know how to handle it.
Beautiful.
All right, and
Great.
thank you so
Great
much
question.
for your
Thanks,
video
Dina.
on a wealth of information.
All right, you got it. Thanks for being here. Stephanie Burnett Newsome, how are you? You're good to go.
Hi, how are y'all?
Excellent.
I have a question. I have watched your videos about, sending thank you notes and follow-ups with clients and that. And I know some people, encourage about, and I'd even posted in the Facebook group about physically going to see clients. But as we know, some of our clients when we're in the different areas of the industry are not physically located to us. And obviously we can still mail those thank you notes. However, I do have a number of promo items that I do find that a lot of my clients love, and I'm just trying to figure out what the best point during that relationship is to send those. I know it's not with the thank you note, and I just would kind of like some guidance on that.
Yeah, I think number one, what I'll suggest is that there's no rules, right? So you can really do whatever feels right for you. What we aim to do is use advertisements for advertising and then use tools for building relationships as relationship tools. So if you send a thank you card, they're probably going to reach out to you one way or the other and say, oh my gosh, I got your card. Thank you. That was awesome. That's a door open to a relationship. So you're, hey, no problem. I just really appreciate you. And then maybe next week you said, in case you need this, or maybe it's next month, and you, after you get a time to see what's going to happen with that relationship. With tools like notepads, pens, coffee mugs, and stuff like that, that people love to have and they're going to use, you can use that to spark relationships. Like, all right, we've had some conversation 3 weeks ago. I haven't heard anything. I'm going to send her a coffee mug or whatever it is. You can do to spark some activity, or you can use that as a further gratitude. It's like, holy cow, she's been sending me 10 signings in the last 3 weeks. I'm going to send her a coffee mug, whatever it is. So it can be reinforcement or it can be a spark.
Okay. All right. Well, that pretty much, I guess, really kind of covers it. I was really in the signing space at the beginning of my notary career, and now I've decided to kind of get back into that space. I've done a tremendous amount of general notary work and I'm still doing that. And with all this coronavirus and with medical issues and stuff like that, I'm just kind of tweaking my my practice, I guess, and so kind of filling out all those things. And I'm loving the videos, and I'm loving these live conference calls as well. It's really great.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you found us, and I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for participating by asking a great question too, Stephanie.
Thank you.
All
Bill,
right,
I
guys.
just want to add one thing to what you just said
Oh,
about
yeah, please
the sparking. Oh, what did you just say? But anyway, set what you might send them when you're going to send them something. And one of the things I was wondering if everybody else was thinking about this, but rather than sending the traditional pen or coffee mug or paper thing, maybe something that they're in need of right now, something timely. So you might have a branded mask, or you might have little branded hand sanitizers, those little tiny ones. I must have had 1 million of them sitting in a drawer. Let me tell you, I'm using them all now. But think about the gift you're giving, and a gift that like that, a hand sanitizer or a mask or something they could be using right now might be more appreciated than the standard, here's your pen. So just a thought.
I love that suggestion, by the way. Awesome. Thanks for chiming in on that. We got time for one more question. Nancy's been so patient. Nancy, you are our last question, and then we're going to give some prizes away. How can we help, Nancy?
Mine's really easy. I'm from California, where I understand that we're going back to the lost stamp and replacement stamp. And in California, it's like it comes through through the SOS. In Florida, I'm new, but I understand that I have to get it through the other company. And then you threw me for a complete loop when you said, oh, I go down the street and get it from these guys. Is that state by state by state then?
Yeah, every state's a little bit different. I haven't heard of authorized vendors on stamp. Oh, there's one state, I can't remember. So maybe there is a rule. Maybe they give you suggested. Usually though, as long as you prove that you're a notary, these third-party companies can help. So the best thing I can do is suggest the statutes. Yeah. Laura, do you know anything in particular specifically about that? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry. She's such a rule follower. I love it.
A lot of states do have what are called approved vendors. California is one of them. If you are not on the list, don't buy it from them because it's not valid. And the vendor's ID number that's assigned to them is as part of the border. So I can't speak to all 50 states, but there are states like Arizona where that's not an issue and you can just go to Staples and get it. So make sure you know the rules around buying your stamp or seal before you do so.
Excellent. Great question,
I used to
Nancy.
go to
You're right.
Staples too.
What's that, Carol?
I used to go to Staples as well. 15 minutes, they used to have it ready for me. Bring your commission in, you're good to go. Bill, I want to make a little announcement, if I may,
Absolutely.
before we give away gifts. And I would like to participate, give another course away.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
And I don't know if she's on here today, but Vicki Mott, she won the last time.
Yeah.
And she, when I called her, she said, I want you to give it to somebody who needs it. And that day, we happened to have somebody come in that was fitted that scenario. And so I want to thank her publicly for doing that, because this woman is doing well. And so that's one thing. So I want to do that. But also I would like to announce that this is the week that we have Primetime Notaries on Thursday, 4 o'clock. Go to notarytopro.com, homepage, sign up, you'll get an invitation. And so we have that once a month going on.
Awesome, I love that. Thank you. And thank you for the awesome prize today. So let's go ahead and do it. Right now, so you've already been given the list or the link to submit your name and email. So that's notarycoach.com/prize if you have not yet done so. The first prize, let's go ahead and kick it off with Laura. Do you want to tell us about Sue Hope's prize? Can you tell us a little bit about Notary Assist and why you love it so much? Oh, you're on mute.
I have to unmute. Okay, so Sue Hope, who is a colleague for Carol, myself, and for Bill, and is the founder and creator of Notary Assist software. And for those of us who use it, it is fantastic. And it is how I track all my different lines of revenue, because I can identify each kind of revenue that I get. It runs reports. It will run the report for my CPA for tax at the end. It runs unpaid reports for me, so I know who hasn't paid me yet. I just love it. In any case, Sue was very generous and offered one-year subscription for her Notary Assist software. And so whoever wins that, I'm excited for you. And by the way, if you win that and then you need some assistance with that, Sue will answer the phone herself. She is fabulous.
Exactly. We'll put you in touch with Sue. And if you're already a subscribing member, you still win the prize because you're still probably going to be with Notary Assist. So it's for new customers or existing customers. All right, guys, let's do it. So basically, you have the link. We made sure everybody is in there. So I'm just going to make an adjustment and we're going to draw random numbers and I'm just going to pull them from the list. So, oh, wow. Okay. Of course, it's a little further down the list than I had hoped for. So bear with me 1 second. This is for the 1 year. It's 100. Oh, wow. Samantha Smith from Georgia. We were just talking about Sam. She's in one of our Georgia notaries. Congratulations, Samantha. You have won the 1 year subscription to Notary Assist, the accounting software just for notaries. If you would, send me an email and I'll put you in touch with Laura and with Sue so we can get you registered for that. All right, great. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Now we are going to give away, let's see. I already did Notary Assist. Let's do the Notary 2 Pro. Notary 2 Pro, an entire Notary 2 Pro course. How cool is that? Thanks to Carol Ray. All right, so we've already got the numbers in there. Let me just see. Now we've got more people registered. So let me make a quick adjustment here. There we go. All right. Number 63 is the winner. Here we go. All right, Lawrence Sims. Lawrence Sims, congratulations. You are the winner of the Notary 2 Pro full course on how to be a loan signing agent. Congratulations.
Well, thank you
Just
so much.
send it. Hey, there you are. How's it going? Congratulations.
Wonderful.
All right, just send,
thank you.
You're very welcome. Congrats. And then Carol, just send an email to Carol Ray. Carol, what's your email address?
It's notary2pro@gmail.com, or our phone number, Lawrence, is 916-777-5931.
Thank you.
You'll be one of my new babies.
Yes. When?
Already got the baby talk down. You're perfect.
Yes.
Hey, listen, everybody's younger than me.
All right, so now we're going to give away, all right, LinkedIn for personal branding. Guys, this was written by Sandra Long. She is a longtime colleague, great author, and this book changed my LinkedIn game. So we're going to be, I'll send this out to you as well. And Sandra is going to be doing another webinar training for us coming up in June. So I'll get you the details on that, but I want you to have this book in advance. So we're going to pick the winner on this one. Okay, of course, it's going to be multiple pages again. Bear with me.
Can you show the book again?
Yeah, sure can. LinkedIn for Personal Branding, The Ultimate Guide by Sandra Long. All right, so now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Bill, can you get the link again? I tried and it comes back and tells me that it's invalid.
Yeah, no problem. So the winner of the LinkedIn book is Rosalind Miller. It's just notarycoach.com/prize. Oh, I spelled that wrong in the chat window. It's just prize, though. Not an extra T. It's a silent T. Guys, we got one more prize. I'm going to give away a copy of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. Just released that last November. This is going to be signed and scribed. So whoever wins this, you can send me a message and I'll be happy to write it in there. Something inspirational, something funny, anything you want. It is all yours. So now, oh my goodness. Bear with me one second. Got to go all the way to the end here, guys. The winner is Stephen Licata. Stephen Licata, you are the winner of the Sign and Thrive book. And if you're still on the call, great. Send me an email to orders@notarycoach.com. If you're not, I will send you an email to stay in touch and get that book out to you. Guys, that is all. I want to just say again, thank you so much for growing yourself and your business. Laura, Carol, thank you so much for all the energy you bring to this amazing community. And Carol, thanks for the donation of the Notary 2 Pro prize today. All right, guys. Yeah, it's just one time for the prizes. Just so you know, it's one time for the prizes. You're registered for all of them by registering just the one time. Thanks, guys. We'll see you same time, same place next week.
Stay safe.